Hey, Anthony,
Yeah,
what do you think of Trump calling for a new census excluding illegal immigrants?
I think it's part of the Republicans' continued plan to win elections, essentially by cheating, since they can't win on policy, and also unlikely to happen in any kind of meaningful way.
How is the census connected to cheating?
Great question. So I think the main reason that the Trump administration and by extension the Republicans want to conduct this new special census that excludes illegal immigrants is basically the same reason that the northern states wanted to exclude slaves from the census count back in the early period of the United States, right? Which is that the population of a state is what determines how many votes that state gets in the House, how many representatives it gets in the House. And by excluding illegal immigrants, especially from populous states like California that are known to have a lot of illegal immigrants in general, they can reduce the amount of votes that those states get in Congress and therefore increase the weight that Republican votes have, especially from lower population states. And, I think that's the main reason. But on top of that, I think it also gives them a good way to basically continue this discrimination and fear campaign against immigrants in the country, right? What a census is basically calling or visiting every household in the U.S., at least as much as possible, and asking how many people live there, and in the case of the special census, how many of them are U.S. citizens. So that's data that they can gather, first of all, just to direct ICE to houses that admit to having non-US citizens in them, and also just to spread fear in general among those communities that have larger populations of illegal immigrants, because they know that people are going to be knocking on their door to ask those questions.
Why is it not likely to happen?
I think the main reason it's not likely to actually happen is simply because it's unpractical. Surveying every household in the US is not something that can be done easily. And aside from just requiring a lot of manpower, also requires a large amount of, statistical analysis in order to give accurate results. So much so that the preparations for the next census, which takes place in 2030, began in 2019 and include basically test runs in 2026 and 2028. So this isn't something that you can just call for and have done quickly. It takes over a decade of preparation and setup and a lot of manpower, and completely excluding the fact that, Trump's fired a lot of federal workers that would be conducting this type of census in the first place. There's just not enough time for it. Which is not to say that I don't think they'll try and do something shady, but I think it's fair to say that any type of census that we see before the one that's already scheduled in 2030 is at the very least poorly put together, if not purposefully a scam with made-up results to further Republican ends.